Straight ahead on 12 News, entering the growing world of cybercrime.
I don't know how law enforcement can keep up.
How local police departments are trying to fight back. Plus, a gateway to Plymouth getting a massive facelift. We'll show you what's now being planned. But first, a dangerous West Metro police chase that involved multiple police agencies. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Rush hour rain and a police chase created a chaotic situation this morning in the western suburbs.
As Eric Nelson reports, a fleeing suspect rammed cars on the road and injured a police officer.
He just ran both of us. How you ran both squads. We need more units to back up 7200. Rams again. Get us some help out here.
That is the dramatic audio captured by a police scanner as officers pursued a man in a white van with Washington plates. He played bumper car on a soggy eastbound U.S. Highway 12 in Wayzata.
The pursuit was not high speed, but he intentionally hit a number of vehicles. And we're very happy that more people weren't hit out on the roadways. Schneider rammed his van into two police officer squad cars and one innocent motorist.
The pursuit finally came to an end on Gleason Lake Road, just north of the highway.
Push a smaller passenger car, 100 block, Gleason Lake Road. Ram again. He's going to ram again.
This maroon car had extensive damage from the ramming. Also, a Wayzata police officer suffered minor injuries during the chase.
We need an ambulance for an officer, please.
The officer was hospitalized and later released. All right, now this all started with a 911 call from a Wayzata resident who saw a person suspiciously in their driveway wielding a knife and an axe, and they later notified the authorities. Now the suspect has been identified as Wayne Steven Schneider. He is currently in custody. There were 4 law enforcement agencies involved in the chase this morning, including one from Plymouth. Reporting live from Wayzata, I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News. Back to you, Mike and Shannon.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. On Monday, we will learn more about a level 3 sex offender moving into Golden Valley. A community notification meeting on the offender will be held Monday at 6 p.m. at the Purpose Center for Arts Education. The offender has served his sentence and plans to live in the area of Douglas Drive and Golden Valley Road. Level 3 is considered the highest risk to reoffend. Plymouth's Eastern Gateway on Highway 55 will soon be getting a massive facelift.
A new apartment complex is planned for the site that was once home to a farmer's market. As Delane Cleveland reports, developing that site has been years in the making.
A pile of rubble sits near the intersection of Highways 55 and 169. A proverbial eyesore at this gateway to Plymouth.
It's been an area that's been talked about for quite a while, but it's kind of been in a state of uncertainty and disrepair.
In the not too distant past, it was once home to a popular farmer's market.
We have a lot of families that have been down to knee-high and have grown up, and now they're bringing their families in.
That was Brown's Farmers Market owner Rose McLeod in July of 2008.
A lot of flavor.
Business that was a throwback to Plymouth's past ceased operation in 2009. And the site has been vacant ever since, although that wasn't the intent. I'm standing here on the foundation of what was supposed to be a hotel, but then financing dried up. A couple of other proposals have fallen through in the years since, but now Plymouth finally has a deal in place.
It's a 5-story apartment building with 2 stories underneath for parking. That is the plan, and it is finalized, and we expect a permit to be issued for the construction shortly.
The apartment complex would have 157 units, 16 of which would be considered affordable.
I think it does obviously bring a new opportunity for people to move into Plymouth that perhaps work here or they may work elsewhere, but again contribute to the local economy.
City leaders say it's been a tough piece of land to develop thanks to the wetlands, the concrete footings in place on the site, and the demolition costs. So while the area may not look appealing now, City Manager Dave Callister says it will be a welcome project for Plymouth.
It's good redevelopment for the community because it does serve as the gateway to Plymouth, highly visible on 55 and 169, and it's going to look really nice.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
The City of Plymouth approved a special tax increment financing district for the site back in April to help pay for the extra costs. You'll notice a big change along County Road 81 in Brooklyn Park. Demolition work has kicked into high gear at Menards to make way for a new store that will double the size of the old one. The project has dealt with a series of delays. One delay came in 2013 when the City Council and Menards had to work out differences over the quality of the design.
Entrepreneurs are increasingly turning to crowdfunding websites to raise capital. Craft brewers are no different.
Right in here is going to be the tap room. We're going to be replacing both of these garage doors with glass garage doors, so it'll let in some natural light.
The brain trust behind OMNI Brewing in Maple Grove has launched a Kickstarter campaign to fund a tap room. OMNI Brewing plans to renovate the former Schwann's distribution building on Deerwood Lane. That's just north of Maple Tavern. If they raise enough funds, their goal is to open in late August.
What we're trying to do is basically just bring all that exciting stuff around brewing that's happening in the northeast Minneapolis to the northwest suburbs and kind of give the community of Maple Grove and the surrounding suburbs their own brewery.
OMNI Brewing plans to specialize in ales and seasonal lagers. They're also thinking about having food trucks on site.
Grilling season is underway, and a new digital cookbook promotes safety at the grill as well as a few good recipes. Sue Kratz from Maple Grove has a recipe in the cookbook Grilling for Heroes. It's a family favorite that calls for pumpkin pie spice on potato wedges. She entered her recipe in a national contest and it made the cut. Money raised from the digital cookbook goes to help wounded veterans, which is something important to Sue.
I thought it was quite interesting, dear to our heart, so I entered and was surprised when they picked one of my recipes.
You can donate to the cause and download the cookbook at grillingforheroes.com. Coming up, the growing of cybercrime. What can police do to keep up? We'll take a look up next.
Then later in sports, highlights from the final round of the state golf tournament as local players shine.
But first, the skies clear up and the sun returns on Friday. Police departments are training investigators in how to track down crime through social media.
But how can they keep up with it all? Some contract with experts who can do the online sleuthing for them.
This is a Facebook page of a hacker who is selling stolen personal information.
Mark Lanterman of Computer Forensic Services says for a little money you can buy a lot of personal information that's advertised on social media. It goes beyond your name and address.
Mother's maiden name, driver's license numbers, security questions.
Lanterman showed us 2 Minnesota residents where he was able to find account numbers, height, weight, and eye color, enough information to apply for credit in your name, possibly even fake IDs. So how can law enforcement keep up with it all?
I don't know how law enforcement can keep up. I know that they're trying, but there's just so much. It's like drinking from a fire hose. I don't think we can expect law enforcement to have the capabilities and the resources to address all of these crimes.
Lanterman is a former cop who now works for more than 30 Minnesota police agencies investigating crimes online. He says the social media sites should do a better job policing themselves.
I think that this is stolen material, it's stolen information, and it should not be posted.
In the legislature, there's a move aimed at stopping people from impersonating others online in order to harm them.
It's an example of what we're seeing across the country, where ex-boyfriend or ex-husband got angry and posted an ad on Craigslist pretending to be the ex-girlfriend and the daughter, soliciting sex.
Deborah Hillstrom, who pushed the bill in the House, says men have been known to show up answering such ads. The proposal failed to pass this time.
This is really designed to get at the people who are pretending to be you, posting information about you.
For Mark Lanterman, it's a balancing act in the online world.
Whenever we have something that's really convenient and really cool, like social media, we're always going to give up a little bit of security. And I think that that's what we're seeing.
One local police department we spoke with said all of their investigators are trained to use social media for investigations. They say it's a tool to find stolen property that criminals sometimes post online. They can also find out who the lawbreakers have been talking to. Coming up, getting your gardening questions answered, from rabbits to pine needle problems. We'll offer up some solutions.
But first, we drop a line with Terry Tuma for his weekly fishing tip. John Jacobson is in next with sports.
Armstrong baseball players having to wait another day because of the rain. The game is Friday night?
Friday night, 6:30 now. Rained out all the 3A and 1A games. Providence baseball still playing on Thursday night.
Okay, but we got some golf in before the rain came.
We got some golf in yesterday, yes. Weather was perfect for day 2 of the state golf tournament. A handful of golfers played strong rounds at the Class 2A tournament in Jordan. Kyle Brote was one of 2 Tocino race golfers in the boys' tourney. This putt for him will stay right. He cards a second round score of 77 and finishes in 14th place. His teammate Matt Lutz was 3 shots better in the tournament. He nearly holds this chip shot here on the 14th hole. Lutz finishes in a tie for 4th place at 2 over par for the tournament. Paul Stanky of Providence Academy sees his birdie putt drop off a little at number 8, but he plays a great round shooting a 68, and he finishes second in the 2A tournament to Blake's Reese Sanders. Breck's girls team qualified for state this season. Mustangs freshman Amelia Simons with a nice chip onto the 10th green, and she ties for 17th place overall. Her teammate Grace Zumwinkle playing a couple of groups ahead with a birdie try on the 11th hole. She'll come up just a couple of rotations short of dropping this one in. Zumwinkle not getting the birdie. She has to settle for par, and the Mustangs finish 5th as a team. Providence Academy had 4 girls qualify for state, including Anna Rastetter, who rolls in a great putt on the 3rd hole at Ridges. Here are the final Class 2A girls golf team results. Breck, as we mentioned, finished 5th of 8 teams. Blake came in 7th. Red Wing takes the title, their 4th straight. And the Lakers' Kate Smith wins her 4th individual title as well. In Class A golf, we had just one entrant from a school in the northwest suburbs, but she made the most of her opportunity. This is Kira Smith of Heritage Christian Academy in Maple Grove. She carried a 3-stroke lead into day 2 after her first round at 76. And shots like this help Smith maintain her lead. She rolls home a 20-footer for birdie on the par 5 red course number 4 at Pebble Creek in Becker. It's the steady shots that help Smith take the title. She shoots a 77 for a 2-day total of 153 and wins the tournament by 5-stroke. Congratulations to her. After getting crushed in the quarterfinals of the State Girls Lacrosse Tournament, Champlin Park and Armstrong looked to bounce back, and they met up in the consolation bracket. Champlin Park goes up early. Hannah Cribble dodging the defender scores for a 2-0 lead. Rebels net the first 3 goals, but Armstrong dominates the rest of the half. Haley Holdall, the Gracie Snow for the goal. They're up 7-4 at the half. Falcons try to keep the lead. Watch the goal by Anna Colwell as she is falling. That makes it 8-6. Champlin Park, though, takes over. Cribble sets up Sam Nolan for the goal, and the Rebels win it 11-10. The Maple Grove boys also faced a Northwest Suburban Conference foe in the consolation bracket. Crimson lost 9-5 to Blaine today. Wayzata's girls are meeting Prior Lake in consolation play at this taping of 12 News. Understanding the senses of a fish can help you be a better angler. Terry Tuma explains in this week's Channel 12 Fishing Tip.
We as anglers go out on the body of water, we have our boats and we got all the rods and the reels and the lures and so forth, but I really feel there's something much more valuable, more important. That's understanding the sensory factors of these fish. One is going to be, the hearing, the ladder line, the feel, sight, smell, and taste. It's something that we have to address if you want to be continually successful on any body of water. There's no lucky angler, by the way, none whatsoever. And the final 2 are scent and taste. If something doesn't smell right, these fish will not even be interested in that bait. If it's a negative factor, I can assure you, you're not going to catch that fish. You're not going to interest that fish whatsoever. And then the final is the taste factor. If it doesn't taste right, you are not going to hook that fish. It's just not going to happen. And it's something we have to address. And we'll talk later on about hearing and so forth, again, how it affects our fishing success. Be sure to tune in next week for another tip, and only keep enough fish for the frying pan.
Thanks, Terry, and that's it for sports today.
All right, thanks, John. Time now for Brooklyn Park's Spud Clue number 2. Must have dropped it here somewhere, it occurred to Spud, his head and beret in a cloud. We walked this way yesterday, he explained to Spot, analyzing and thinking out loud. If you find the golden spud, it's worth $300. Good luck. Still ahead, you have the questions, we'll bring you the answers.
And in the garden, Q&A style when we come back.
Looking for fresh food? Look no further than the Maple Grove Farmers Market. It opens today outside of the Maple Grove Community Center. More than 50 vendors will be there offering local produce, meats, cheeses, eggs, maple syrup, and honey. The market will run every Thursday from 3 to 7 p.m. through the summer. Always a favorite. Many of our Facebook friends have questions about problems out in their gardens.
Reporter Sonia Goins is in the garden today, and she got some expert advice from Donna Italian and Lined Greenhouse.
Hey Donna, thanks for joining us. We had lots of viewer questions, but we're only going to take a couple today. The first one is from Jeanette in Robbinsdale. She says, what the heck can I grow under a huge pine tree? Dang needles kill almost everything, including my grass. What can I do?
A lot of things that grow under pine trees would be like your hostas. You could do pachysandra, the snow on the mountain, those will work. The one thing that you have to remember when you're growing things underneath a pine tree is you need to water. The trees, if it rains, the trees will get it from the needles, but underneath the tree, there's no water. So a lot of times that's what happens. People will not water adequately enough, and they do need to be watered enough.
Okay, the next question is from Thomas in Brooklyn Center. He says, what's the best way to keep rabbits out of the garden?
Well, there's several things that I can use, you can use. I have a dog and the dog has fun with it, but that he doesn't keep all of them out. This is the one product that I like the most. It doesn't wash off, so you do need to reapply it like once a month. These you have to apply every time it rains. So that's the drawback upon these you have to apply. So this one is Liquid Fence. This one is called EverGuard. It's been called different things, Tree Guard, this one works, all different names, but this is the one that I like the best. Make sure you wear gloves when you use it because it won't wash off your gloves.
Okay, the next one is from Shanna in Brooklyn Center. How can you grow vegetables with containers like 5-gallon buckets?
This is one thing that you can grow in buckets. Here's lettuce. You can do your basil, you can do your peppers, you can do beets. Tomatoes work really well. Even some vining crops like your bush crop, cucumbers will work in there. You just have to make sure you do adequate fertilizing. I like using organic fertilizer in there, but you do want to make sure you fertilize adequately and water.
Okay, Donna, thanks. Back to you guys back in the studio.
All right, thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.